Another amazing way to differentiate instruction in your classroom is by utilizing small groups and centers. Now, this has so many benefits to it. For one thing, you get the opportunity to closely work with students on their level. Also, many students perform better in small group settings because they enjoy the extra attention and won't get lost in the crowd. Other students get the chance to practice working on skills independently while you meet with your small group. And visiting multiple centers means that students are exposed to a variety of skills. Now, there are a couple of downsides to keep in mind as well. Because you won't be able to watch all of your students closely during this time, it can turn into a playtime opportunity if you're not careful. This is especially true if you're giving students fun manipulatives like Play-Doh that you may not use during homework instruction. Even well-behaved students may have a hard time keeping themselves focused on a task if you're not right there. Fortunately, there are steps you can take to fix this. Students need to be taught explicitly how to behave during centers. At the very beginning of the year, before we start, I go over 4 very important rules with my class. We talk about staying with your group the entire time and not just going from center to center on their own. Working at level 1 the whole time, which for us is inside voices. Cleaning up and moving when the timer goes off. And the last one is the most important one. If there's not an emergency, waiting to talk to me. This always takes them quite a while to learn, but it is a very important rule. You only have a very short time to be in a small group, and if students are always coming up with tattles or requests to go to the bathroom, you won't get a whole lot done. My students know to only come up to me if somebody is sick, about to get hurt, or already hurt. It takes them until about October to learn this. Once they do, they're good for the rest of the year. Now, what else helps our centers run smoothly? So I use a pre-made chart and a timer. Students always know who they're working with, what they're doing, and how long they have to be there. I like to sort and color code groups by ability level so I can prepare different types of activities for them. And I'm very lucky to have an aide this year, so I have her working with students who might need extra help while I'm focused on my small group. So here's an example of this. My on-level students are color-coded green. My above level are blue. My below level are yellow. And as you see, these friends do need some extra help, so I have my aide working with them. This is also especially useful if students go into the bathroom or they come back from a pull-out service like speech. They're able to look at the chart and know where they're going, what they're doing without having to ask me and interrupt my small group. Now, something else that's important to know is that you don't have to prepare 15 or 20 unique activities for different levels. Many centers can be quickly and easily altered based on who's there. Here are a couple of examples of that. For my book nook, students might get level A, B, or C readers depending on their reading ability. I make book was in advance, and all I have to do is switch them out between groups. If I give my students plastic letters, some of them might just be matching letters on letter mats, while others use them to help build sight words. At my writing center, some students might get sentence frames to build their own sentences, while others might need more help, get sentence strips to copy, and they all draw pictures to go along with what they wrote. At my Chromebook station, some of my students may be on Starfall's letter page, while others get put on their beginning readers page. Now, here's something else to consider when you're working with your small groups. Time is very limited, and not all of your groups have to be met with equally. Your main focus should be your high needs students and on-level students, because your high achievers will be successful regardless. To make things easier on myself, I try to meet with similar levels in the same day, so I only have to have one type of activity ready to go. So my usual schedule goes like this. I have my high needs students on Monday and Wednesday. My on-level students are Tuesdays and Thursdays. My high ability students are met with on Fridays. I also try to have a goal in mind for each of my small groups. My high needs students, the most thing I want them to do is master those basic kindergarten skills. If they're there, I like to challenge them by beginning to introduce grade level material, like adding in beginning sounds practice once letters and sounds are mastered. For my on-level students, I try to review grade level skills to ensure their mastery. And once they're at that level, I try to challenge them and push them a little bit further, like coming up with words for letters on their own once beginning sounds are mastered. For my high ability students, I have them exploring late kindergarten or early first grade materials, like working on CVC words while the rest of the group is focusing on beginning sounds. Another thing you might consider to help your centers go more smoothly is to let families help out. So recently, I've been allowing parent volunteers to come into my classroom and work with groups of students during centers, I very highly recommend this. It lets more students being able to participate in guided activities with an adult, which helps them sharpen their skills and reduces off-task behavior. If you don't have an aide, this is also an amazing way to support your students who might need extra help while you work with your own small group. To wrap it up, small groups and centers are an excellent way to work with students on their level, and it also gives students the chance to practice a wide range of skills and activities. They're also usually pretty fun, and centers are my students' favorite part of the day. Simple, consistent expectations for behavior, along with plenty of practice, will help it go more smoothly.